Hello, I'm Gabriela Rodriguez Paz, and this is my intercultural reflection and my personal proposal. First, I'm gonna start with the definition of culture, that is the amount between the characteristics of a specific region like religion, traditions, fashion, costumes, food, music, etc. that makes the identity of this region or country. And the self-awareness is the capacity to recognize how different circumstances make you react and how they make you feel, how do we think about different topics, and how our personality is composed based on thoughts, emotions, feelings, and beliefs. Globalization has influenced in my experience culture since I started making conscious of the knowledge I can acquire from other countries, from their culture, the people, the language, and places. It absolutely expanded my critical thinking and my point of view from different ways. It has made me understand how is the difference between me, a Mexican person who has Mexican roots and culture and has always lived in Mexico, and another person who has different ways to live his life from simple to more complex way. And when I know its country, I can understand where does all its behavior comes from. I think that my own identity comes from my values, my home, the state of Mexico where I come from, that in this case is Mexico City, where I grew up, my social circle, my family, my costumes and traditions, but also the Mexicans have different identities between us, depending principally on its state of personal growth, since everywhere these all characteristics go changing depending on it. In my opinion, cultural intelligence has played a very important role in my ability to relate and adapt to circumstances where I need to develop language, socialize, and also comprehend the behavior of a person with other values. I think this had made me develop my self-awareness because that's how I understand what I like from different places and what costumes I can adapt to myself, and I also can take more knowledge, principally from people, places, food, and information, but it also is based on my international or national experiences. I have found multiculturalism, interculturalism, and transculturalism in some ways, and here are some examples. I have found multiculturalism in trips to Canada since my sister lives there, and that's something I have noticed in each trip, and it's known that it is a very multi and transculturalist country because there are families composed by Chinese people, Indian people, Latin people principally, and they create a hybrid way of interculturalism that transforms in transculturalism over the years. I have also had multiculturalism experiences in my classes since I share them with people from other states of Mexico or also other countries, principally at college, and that's pretty fine since I can share knowledge and speaking with them that creates a culture being cool. For example, my favorite intercultural experience is my United Kingdom exchange in high school, since I had never had a trip with friends before, staying at a host mom British house at Cambridge, where I could learn in a personal way that their ways of living and costumes. It was such an experience that is amazing how much of them you can have. I knew a lot of places, a lot of food, but also the most important, a lot of people who shared these moments with me, and I am very, very grateful I had the chance to take this trip that opened my mind and made me develop more self-awareness when I was just 16. So here's a mind map of a brief definition of culture, that is the way where a person bases its identity. The self-awareness makes the structure of critical thinking based on the cultural beliefs, feelings, and preferences. This is important to know because since these I can make a reflection of why this is important in college and what are the conflicts in it, like the inadaptation between international and national students, and how it can be a nice environment where everybody feels included. So, to promote cultural understanding and diversity of cultures in my campus, I thought it could be a good idea to make an obligatory dynamic to relate with international people, make a project based on information they tell you about their culture, and make a presentation of things related to its country to yours, or also its state from your state, because there is also such a difference between states. The suggestion proposed is with the objective of benefit people with other cultures to adapt better. To tips from Monterrey people: they can have a friendly conversation, make friends, and it would be easier to adapt and feel that you have somebody in which you can trust to know more about Monterrey. Also that they feel heard from other people, and they make them feel welcome in the school. This can be a good project because they have to listen carefully of what the other student used to do as a foreign student. So basing me in this project and in this reflection, I can conclude that the importance of knowing about culture is that you understand the relevance of a person who grew up in another environment, know about they have a different mental thinking and different perspectives. This also shows empathy for the person and the places you're visiting. Self-awareness is also that important as culture, because instead of learning about the way of thinking of a person with different roots and different origins, you start recognizing your interests, hobbies, critical thinking, and emotions. These also show empathy, but in the most personal way. This is such as important, because if you know how to control your self-awareness, then you can start learning in an external way with the other persons and know how to control the situation with them. It's all about empathy.